Y de esta manera arrancamos el programa del día de la fecha, de esta manera arrancamos el Es Esto o la Fábrica del día de hoy. Arrancamos esta sección en donde nosotros analizamos, repensamos, redefinimos todo lo que tiene que ver con la industria de la música. Esta industria que hace un puñadito de años nada más para lo que es la humanidad toda, apenas de algunas décadas, precisaba de barcos, de containers, de aviones, de cosas que distribuyan cosas que distribuyan arte, ya sea discos, ya sea libros, ya sea obras de arte, ya sea una pintura. Eso ha cambiado un montón en estos últimos años y de todos esos cambios queremos hablar en esta columna. Y para ello nos nutrimos de diferentes diálogos. Hablamos con organizadores de festivales, hablamos con productores y hablamos con artistas. Muchos artistas, como es el caso del día de la fecha, que nos vamos hasta Israel para hablar con la amiga TAMAR APHEK, que es una artista que realmente admiro un montón, me encanta la música que hace y ya está en conexión con nosotros en un lugar hermoso. Veo ahí conectada, veo una cosa bastante linda. Así que bueno, Raúl, saludamos y arrancamos. ¿Te parece bien?
Dale. Hello, Tamar, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Yes,
Everything is perfect. So we are going to start the interview. I'm going to make a little translation for the Spanish listeners. So please tell us your full name, where are you from, and how old are you?
Well, my name is TAMAR APHEK. I'm from Israel, Tel Aviv. And you don't ask a woman how old she is.
Okay. No problem with that. Okay. Bueno, le pregunté el nombre, de dónde era y cuántos años tenía. Me dijo que su nombre es TAMAR APHEK, es de Tel Aviv, de Israel, y dice que no se le pregunta a las mujeres la edad, así que no hay ningún problema. And Tamar, which is your first memory of you listening to music?
Actually, my first memory was when I was 3-4 years old. I lived in Egypt because my parents worked there. And actually Arabic music is the first music I remember. Farid al-Atrash, Kulthum, and at the time there was this big singer called Shirihan. I loved her, and she was a big thing in Egypt, and she was my first rock star.
Wow. Bueno, le pregunté cuál es su primer recuerdo escuchando música y dice que ella vivió cuando en su infancia en Egipto, y dice que el primer recuerdo que tiene es de música egipcia. Hay una cantante que se llama Chili Han o algo así, que fue su primera estrella, su primer ídolo musical. And can you tell us the music was in your family? It came through the radio, through TV? How did the music was in your space?
When I was in Egypt, it was from television, and later my dad listened to a lot of classical music, mostly classical music.
Perfect. Bueno, dice que la primera parte, cuando ella estaba en Egipto, había mucha televisión, y después también su padre escuchaba mucha música clásica. And Tamar, which was your first instrument and which was the first song that you learned?
My first instrument was the piano, and it was probably one of Bach's pieces. I don't remember like the very first one, but it was Bach.
Wow. And where did you study music? You studied in school, in your family?
My mother just took me to a piano teacher at the beginning, who was just living in the area, and later I studied in a music school.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Ok, bueno, le pregunté cuál fue su primer instrumento, cuál fue la primera canción que aprendió, y dijo que ella empezó tocando el piano, y probablemente lo primero que aprendió fue algo de Bach, y que su mamá la mandaba a clases de piano. And can you tell us, there was any places to study music for free, or it was paid?
No, there weren't any places where you can learn music for free. It was definitely paid.
Okay. Bueno, le pregunté si había lugares gratuitos para aprender música o eran pagos, y dijo que no, directamente, o sea, son lugares pagos. And how was the first time you play in public?
Well, during the music school, I was also in a children's choir. Wow. And I would have like recitals, which were mostly exams on the piano, for the judges of the school. And with the children choir, we played many festivals for children choirs, even in Spain and France, like when I was a little kid.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And how old were you?
It started when I was about 11, 12.
Okay.
So maybe the touring started then, and I fell in love with it.
Wow. Bueno, le pregunté la primera vez, and you were nervous or not?
No, because we were a big bunch of girls, singing together, so...
Perfecto. Bueno, le pregunté cómo fue la primera vez que tocó en público y dice que aparte de tener estas lecciones de piano, ella cantaba en un coro y bueno, que con el coro también hacían muchos festivales y tenían muchos recitales con otros coros de niños y fue su primera experiencia. Dice que no estaba demasiado nerviosa porque como era un grupo no había demasiados nervios. And Tamar, why did you decide to start a solo career? You play in some groups, but then you went solo. Why you decide to be solo?
Well, first let's ask why did I decide to be in a band?
Okay. Uh-huh.
And I think I felt, I switched to the guitar when I was like 19, 20. Like I wasn't a kid, I was already like a grown-up. And I felt, the experience of playing live with the guitar. There is no place you can do it rather than, do the real thing. Like you don't have a scenario where you can practice, like pushing the pedals and feeling the stage. And I felt like the first thing you need is a band, Like I can't start a solo career playing guitar for the first time. I need to be part of the band and feel the energy. And also I listened a lot to Red Hot Chili Peppers, like Frusciante, he was like my guitar for dummies. And, his history of loving the band and then joining as a fan, it really influenced me and I felt like I should start with a band. And later, if I have a vision, I'll do a solo career.
Wow. And where did you get Red Hot Chili Peppers? It was in MTV maybe or something like that?
No, I started playing with my guitar teacher and, we just listened to a bunch of stuff and that was one of the things that
wow.
I really enjoyed.
And Red Hot Chili Peppers is big in Israel or not?
It's pretty big. I mean, it used to be big. They came here, they played here, they had a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty big.
Ok. Bueno, le pregunté por qué ella decidió de hacerse solista y me dijo, bueno, que primero le pregunté por qué empezó a tocar con bandas y dijo que ella en 2019 arrancó con la guitarra, empezó a tomar clases de guitarra y ella quería no mandarse directamente con solista. Dice que quería sentir en realidad lo que era tocar con una guitarra eléctrica, que es con un grupo. I completely agree that you have to be in a group with an electric guitar. I completely agree with that. Yes, of course. Sí, dice que tenía que sentir esa cosa de estar tocando en un grupo, entonces ella empezó a tocar la guitarra y aparte que escuchaba mucho Red Hot Chili Peppers, era bastante fanática de Red Hot Chili Peppers y quería tener esa sensación de grupo, de tocar con una banda. Bueno, y así fue como empezó ella con los grupos.
¿Podemos preguntarle su disco preferido de los Chili Peppers?
Sí. Do you have any special album of the Red Hot Chili Peppers your favorite album?
Blood Sugar Sex Magic was like my...
Wow, the first one.
I would come home and from 6 p.m. till midnight just with the headphones play it again and again and again and again and again.
Wow. Bueno,
I was obsessed.
Sí, bueno, estaba ahí nos confirma que estaba realmente obsesionada.
I was just doing an interview and the host was asking me who were the guitar players that influenced you, and I mentioned a bunch of them, and then he said, what about Jimi Hendrix? And I said, Jimi Hendrix, Clapton said that he heard Jimi Hendrix and he wanted to stop playing, so when you start to play guitar, you shouldn't listen to Jimi Hendrix. Too much. It's too much. You look at it and you're like, wow, what is that? So I think it's good to start with Frusciante and Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's not too easy, but it's not that hard.
Exactly. Bueno, Manu le preguntó si había algún álbum específico de los Red Hot Chili Peppers favorito y dijo que bueno, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Y aparte lo que decía Tamar es que le preguntaron en un par de entrevistas cuáles eran tus guitarristas preferidos y tiene como un ida y vuelta, que es lo que me pasa a mí también, Manu, que el virtuosismo hay veces que te dan ganas de dejar la guitarra, o sea, Jimi Hendrix o Steve Vai o ese tipo de cosas, o sea, decís no voy a poder tocar con ellos y lo terminás dejando. Y dice que Frusciante es un buen comienzo porque no es extremadamente difícil, pero está bastante bueno, así que a eso le conviene y se obsesionó con los Red Hot Chili Peppers y empezó a tocar. And the solo carrera, you went through some groups and then you started alone. How was the change?
Well, I felt that all the time I felt like I was very involved in the bands I had. I was very, like control freak of them. And after I did my band Careta, which was just me on the guitar and a drummer, and we played really, really hard. Every note was like the last note, and we died. No room for improvisation, just like the same thing, like meaning it till you die. And then I wanted to, I enjoyed other kinds of music. I also enjoy Django Reinhardt and Chavela Vargas. I'm not just like one thing, but I thought I can't like create a new band every time I want to try a new style of music. So it's better to just do solo and do whatever music I want to do.
Perfect. Yes, I can understand that. Bueno, le pregunté cómo fue el cambio de bandas a ella solista, y el tema, lo que le pasaba a ella puntualmente con Carusela, por ejemplo, que era su banda con un baterista que tocaban exactamente las canciones y no se podían correr demasiado del estilo ni moverse demasiado de las canciones, y ella lo que no quería hacer era, cada vez que ella tiene un gusto musical muy variado, por ejemplo nombró a Chavela Vargas, y que con el tema de tener un gusto tan variado no iba a empezar una banda con cada cosa que le gustaba. Entonces lo que decidió ella, que era más rápido, o sea, hacer una carrera solista y tocar lo que a ella le gusta. Muy bueno. In 2014 you released your first EP, Collision, no? Why you put that name, and how was the recording process of your first EP?
Well, my first EP was produced by Jonathan Gatt from Monotonics. You know this band?
Can you repeat the name?
Jonathan Gatt from Monotonics.
Monotonics. Yeah.
Yeah, and Monotonics just broke up, and my band Carusela just broke up. We had a very bad car accident after 2 months tour. And yeah, Jonathan and me, we were talking about, what kind of record, we want to make. And we both felt like we want to make an album that is more like a picture of a situation, If before we talked about knowing exactly what you're going to play and exactly what you're going to do like every day, we wanted the opposite. We wanted to just like improvise and just like capture a situation. And we went to Portugal. Wow. We toured around and did some rehearsals in a deserted mall somewhere in Portugal. And with a great drummer named Igor Dominch, and that was that. And we just had like 3 rehearsals, 2 shows, and just recorded the album in like 2 days.
Wow!
And the thing with this album is that I went to buy red wine for the recordings, but I accidentally bought port wine. And by the time I had to do the vocals, I was so drunk. So the vocals are just like, me totally drunk.
Wow.
But we decided to keep the vocals. I mean, some people love the vocals and some people hate the vocals. It's just a drunk person's vocals, like, give me a break, I was drunk.
Wow. It was nice. The recording process, it was nice. Okay. Wow. Bueno, le pregunté en 2014, ella sacó el primer EP que se llama Collision, y le pregunté un poco por cómo fue grabado, y dice que ella tuvo la oportunidad de conocer a uno de los Jonathan de los Monotonics, que fue el productor, y bueno, estaban de gira, estaban tocando por todos lados. Aparte de ellos, bueno, Monotonics justo se había separado y tuvieron un accidente de auto, que calculo que por eso Collision también debe tener algo que ver, y bueno, estaban de gira, se fueron a tocar a Portugal, conocieron un baterista muy, muy, muy bueno, y hicieron un par de ensayos, tocaron, fue muy buena la unión y ahí fue como se lanzaron a grabarlo en Portugal, y dice que lo grabaron en 2 días, y el problema no que tuvo, o sea, ella compró vino, pensó que era vino para la grabación, sí, y era Oporto, o sea, se agarró una borrachera bastante grande para grabar las voces, y bueno, que las voces decidieron dejarlas así. Hay gente que le gusta mucho, hay gente a la que no, pero bueno, quedaron así las voces. In 2021, you released Speed Trials, a cover of Elliott Smith. Why you decide to support a ONG, I think that is Kill Rock Stars? Why you decide to make that cover and to support something from Oregon, no, from the United States, no?
Yeah, well, my album All Bets Are Off, which came out in 2021, came out through Kill Rock Stars.
Okay.
So actually, Kill Rock Stars were doing this compilation of all the artists on the label, asking them to cover one of the label's former artists. Oh. And I love Elliott Smith, so I chose him.
Mm-hmm. And the record, it's like they support LGBT and that kind of things, queer. Why you decide to be involved in that circumstance? Movement, exactly.
Well, I mean, for me, Kill Rock Stars, it's just such an important historic label in the rock scene. Bands like Unwound and Gossip and Sleater-Kinney and Bikini Kill, these are, and Elliott Smith, of course, I was very influenced by this kind of music. So first and foremost, it was because of that. And having to get to know better the bandmates on the label, I was exposed, to when Americans talk about the political situation, many times they talk about the LGBT community and, their fight, and I was exposed, to their fight for equal rights. And as a person that believes in equal rights for everyone, it just seems like part of a natural thing to do,
Perfect.
To be part of that.
Nice. Bueno, le pregunté un poco porque Kill Rock Stars, bueno, es un sello de música que apoya mucho toda la comunidad y el movimiento LGTBI queer de Estados Unidos, y ella tuvo la oportunidad de grabar un cover que salió después del disco que ella también ¿cómo se llama? Lanzó a través de Kill Rock Stars, y le pregunté por qué estaba decidió meterse en ese movimiento, y dice que ella aparte de admirar a todos los artistas que estaban en el sello y sentirse colega de la gente que estaba en el sello, ella también siente que está apoyando una causa que en Estados Unidos más que nada es muy fuerte y tiene muchas luchas, y que es una manera de equilibrar y de igualar a la gente, o sea que nadie es distinto a nadie, o sea la comunidad queer, los feministas, todo ese tipo de cosas, o sea trata de envolverse en ese tipo de cosas y de decir para manifestar que todos somos iguales. We are all the same. I completely agree with that. In 2021 you released your first album, All Bets Are Off, no? También.
Yes.
How was that recording process?
Well, All Bets Are Off is a record that I produced. It includes 2 different sessions I did with 2 different rhythm sections. Most of it was recorded in Daptone in New York, which is more familiar with soul and funk recordings like Sharon Johnson and Dap King and Amy Winehouse. And I just thought it would be cool to record a rock album in that environment, just to bring that sound and that vibe to rock songs.
Wow. And when you have the chance to travel, no, and you feel a lot of differences between recording in your hometown and in outside in another country.
Yes.
Why?
Well, I mean, the history of recording in the US, for example, it just goes a long way. They know how to. I mean, you come to the studio and the drums are already set. And what I loved specifically about Daptone is that we recorded the drums with just 2 microphones, one on the bass drum and one overhead, and that's it. And that could be, something like that could work when you really like build the room, know the room for many years, have a tradition of recording many good bands. And I feel we just don't, in Israel, of course, we don't have that tradition, you know. We have tradition of, unfortunately, we have tradition of war and good weather and good food.
No, it happened more or less with, not with war, but we don't have in Latin America, we don't have any tradition of the recording like in the United States. I completely agree with that. I'm going to make a little translation of this. Le pregunté un poco por qué ella grabó su primer disco, All Bets Are Off, en Estados Unidos, y lo que estaba diciendo ella que lo grabó en Nueva York en un ambiente que no era de rock and roll, era de otro tipo de música, y ella le gustó la experiencia de llevar el rock and roll a ese lugar, y yo le pregunté si notaba muchas diferencias entre grabar en ¿cómo se llama? En su casa, grabar de local y grabar en Estados Unidos. Y dice que sí, que hay una gran diferencia, más que nada, que yo comparto totalmente. Los yankees en Estados Unidos hay mucha tradición de grabación, entonces uno ya entra directamente al estudio, ya está todo preparado, está el room set todo preparado y todo beneficiando a lo que es el arte, o sea, lo que es la cuestión de grabación.
La grabación.
Sí, y dice
lo
que
de la batería, ¿cómo
sí.
fue lo de la batería?
Sí, and Manu wants to know about the drum set that you only record with 2 microphones. How was that? You get in the first impression, you like it or not? Maybe.
I love it. You know, the engineer that also, you know, invented it over there, or like talked about it a lot before, like, you know, he said that he didn't want like 15 microphones on a drum set in order to make the drum set sound like a drum set. You know, you just wanted it to sound great at the beginning. And yeah, it definitely gives a vibe, you know, to just have one room. Sometimes I record, you know, my rehearsals with my iPhone, you know, just like one really compressed microphone of the iPhone. I record the whole band and it just sounds great, you know. Sometimes when you have too many separated layers of one instrument that you want to, because you want the drums to sound like one thing, you don't want it to sound like 15 different things. So sometimes it's just a pain in the ass.
Perfect. Yeah. Bueno, le preguntó Manu específicamente por la batería. Yo le pregunté si la había escuchado medio rara y dijo que no, que a ella le gustaba mucho y que hay muchas veces que es súper técnica. You have a lot of technique. In your recording process and in your taste, you have a lot of technique. I like that. Sí, ¿cómo se llama? Bueno, y le dijo que ya le gustó desde el principio y dice que ella, por ejemplo, puede grabar su banda con el iPhone que tiene, pero ¿cómo se llama? Y va a sonar bien, y que no necesariamente necesitas tener layers, tener un montón de capas de cada instrumento, porque ahí es como que tenés 15 baterías diferentes y a veces es difícil mezclarlas. Súper clara, sí. Bueno.
Estamos hablando con la artista TAMAR APHEK desde Israel, está hablando con nosotros. Tamar, when I listen to your music, it's taking me to the desert, you know? The same thing is happening to me with the stoner music. The stoner music, I love the stoner music. And the question is, what does, for you, the desert have to cause that sound, to influence in that way, the desert?
Well, you know, I live in the desert, so definitely maybe it influenced it. But to tell you the truth, you know, I listen to a lot of music from the United States and England and all that. And at the end of the day, I'm not from there. I wasn't born there, you know. So I feel that when I try to do rock music, which is influenced, it's like soccer, you know, it's like soccer for Spain, you know, it's in your blood, you know, it's in your body. And I feel like as an Israeli, the American or English rock and roll, it's not in my body. It's more me observing it and translating it in some way. You know, the same way I talk when I talk in English, I don't fully sound like an American. You know, maybe I was in England just like a few months ago, so my English is a bit more, it's a bit better. But, you know, as an Israeli, this is how I talk. I talk like this, I don't talk like this, you know, like it's, so I feel also the music, you know, it's just very Israeli. It's just like, I don't want to try and get my bass player to sound like, you know, a great American bass player, because he's not. I want him to sound like who he is, you know.
Perfecto, muy bueno. Bueno, Manu le preguntó justamente, a Manu también le gusta mucho el stoner, y si, ¿por qué el sonido del desierto hace tocar de esa manera? Y bueno, Tamar nos estaba contando que ella vive en el desierto y que no necesariamente es música de Estados Unidos. Ella es la interpretación de lo que ella escuchó mucha música de Inglaterra, mucha música de Estados Unidos, pero ella no es ni inglesa ni es de Estados Unidos, ni es americana, norteamericana, y lo que dice que es ella reinterpretando, o sea, todo lo que escuchó con su sangre. O sea, que nos dio el ejemplo del fútbol, que los latinos, por ejemplo, tenemos el fútbol en la sangre y ellos supuestamente nunca van a jugar como nosotros, y le pasa ya lo mismo con la música. Y que su reinterpretación de toda la música que escuchó, y que, por ejemplo, nos daba un ejemplo que ella no le va a pedir al bajista que toque como un bajista americano, dice que porque si no va a funcionar mucho. And I want to know that, Tamar, you have any composition process?
Well, it depends when we're talking. You know, when I wrote the songs for All Bets Are Off in 2021, I really just, you know, I wrote them on the acoustic guitar, so I would be able to play them like just on an acoustic guitar, and then just go as wild as I want with a production. You know, it could have been anything, but I just, you know, one song I wanted it to be like more like stoner music, one song I wanted it to be like more jazzy. So that's one process, and then after the music was recorded, I edited it, you know, on softwares like Pro Tools and Ableton. And lately, I'm getting into the electronic field. I just released a song called Not Again, and although I feel like, you know, normally I don't write about politics, but something in this genre of like, you know, I like mixing between layers of, you know, 4 on the floor, high BPM, which is more associated with dance and, you know, techno, but then have like social political protest writing. I like this contrast, and lately I find myself like getting into that, you know.
Wow.
When I wrote Not Again, it was like 3 months ago when there were a lot of protests in Israel. For securing democracy in Israel, and you know, I wrote this song with like a warning that the country isn't going to a good place. And at the end of the song, I ask who is going to pay the bill. And I think after October 7, you know, it became really like really clear. And you know, that's the beauty of songwriting.
Wow.
You know, when you get in touch with your subconscious, and like, you have feelings in the mind that you're not necessarily aware of, but they influence your behavior and the way you act. So, yeah, that's one of the secrets of songwriting, I guess.
Wow. Bueno, le pregunté si tenía algún proceso de composición, y dice que ella al principio, por ejemplo, depende del momento. En 2021, por ejemplo, ella tenía un montón de cosas para sacar, para hablar, y las iba tocando, y después, bueno, las grababa, y después hacía overdubs o agregaba cosas después de la grabación, pero que ahora no tanto, porque se metió en cosas más electrónicas, y que va jugando con todo eso. Aparte de eso, tiene la parte de la escritura, digamos, de las letras, que en donde mezcla un poco, como ya ahora se está metiendo con una parte más electrónica, mezcla un poco de todo lo que es la cosa más bailable con cosas más políticas, y aparte es como que ella tiene un montón de ideas en el fondo que van saliendo a medida que ella va escribiendo y va haciendo canciones. Sorry for the question, Tamar, but you think that all the things that are now in all the problems in Israel, you get in touch with that with your music, or it's a part of your music, that kind of things?
Well, you know, like, I was one of the pioneers that organized music festivals in Israel, like outdoor music festival, in the desert also. And, you know, for me, a music festival is something that, it's like an island, which is above day-to-day life. It's like 1 or 2 days that are like above politics. And, you know, on the 7th of October, there was like this massacre in this music festival, you know, 400 people were killed, 40 kids were kidnapped. And like, you know, the testimonies from people who've been there, it's like an apocalypse of bodies and like naked women raped and slaughtered. And for me, like the tragedy that Hamas killed this idea that music is above politics. You know, that's one of the tragedies, like from me as a musician, where I feel it like, because I always felt like music is, you know, it's transcendental. You know, we can communicate on another level, you know, above everything else. But so I feel like it influences me in that sense, you know, that is the idea, can this idea still live? Because like this massacre in Israel was like the deadliest concert attack in history, like more than Bachalan, more than everything. This is like the biggest one. So yeah, for me, I ask myself, can music be above it? You know?
Of course.
It's a question.
No, it has to be above of all that. For me, at last. Wow.
Yeah, I hope that's for me also.
It's beautiful what you are saying. Thanks for that. It's beautiful. Bueno, lo que nos estaba comentando, yo le pregunté si todo lo que está pasando ahora en Israel afecta a su música, y nos dijo algo que está muy bueno lo que nos dijo. Ella fue una de las pioneras, una de las primeras que organizó conciertos al aire libre en Israel, y justamente el primer ataque, bueno, de todo este conflicto que está habiendo ahora en Israel y en la franja, es que atacaron un concierto al aire libre, y dice que eso sí le afecta mucho a ella, porque los conciertos generalmente ella trata de que sea algo, ¿viste? O sea, uno viene con su vida regular y hay un concierto o algo y te saca un poco de eso, y que el ataque de la Franja de Gaza justamente a un concierto es como que lo saca de eso. O sea, uno está en su burbuja y le aparece eso, bueno, con imágenes terribles que hemos visto todos, y como que le molesta un montón eso, que los conciertos al aire libre, en vez de ser algo que enriquecen tu vida, que te llevan a otro lado, se transformó en algo justamente en una lucha política horrible fuera de lo musical, y lo que ella espera que la música siga trascendiendo este tipo de conflictos, que me parece, estoy completamente de acuerdo. Ojalá la música esté arriba de todo eso. And Tamar, how do you define your music?
Well, you know, I mean, for me, when my motivation is that I can define the music and no one else can define the music, you know?
Wow.
Oh, you just did.
No, explain that. Explain that. Wow.
Well, you know, I feel like I decided to do rock music because I thought, you know, because I didn't want to play in games with the rules, you know. I wanted to break the rules. So if I have like one song, you know, which I'm writing like it doesn't mean like that the day after I don't want to like sing a song about, you know, the sun and like just a chill out song. You know, sometimes I'm mad. Sometimes I love metal. I love punk. I love classical music. And so I mean, I feel the moments where I'm having fun, you know, when I'm editing the songs. You know, for example, like in All Bets Are Off, at one point I treated the band like these are samples that I can chop off and just like edit however I like to. And, you know, these are the moments where I'm having fun, you know, when I'm just like trying to think how I'm gonna fuck it up in a way where it's still cohesive, but you know, that's my fun, to fuck it up and like
perfect.
break genres.
That is rock and roll. Perfect. Perfecto, muy bueno. Le pregunté cómo ella define la música y me encanta que dice ella la motivación de ella es que ella define cómo es su música, o sea, y tratar de que nadie más la defina. Y una de las cosas que a ella le gusta y que le parece muy divertido es romper las reglas, break the rules. Si un día quiere hacer ta y al rato escuchar otra cosa, lo pueda hacer. Sí, y está buenísimo tener esa libertad de romper las cosas, de hacerlas y de deshacerlas como a ella le gusta, y de ella tener la posibilidad de definir su propia música. Me mato con la respuesta de yo quiero definir mi música. Me encantó. Sí, me encantó. Tamar, thanks for your time. We are going to finish the interview. Just 3 or more questions. What do you think about the streaming services and the social media?
just a small question. What do I think about it? Personally, I think it's great that you can listen to whatever music you want. Listen to music from Spain from the '60s. Like, why not? I think it's great. And it's great that it could be easy like that. And you can talk about the financial aspects, but I don't know, it's boring. I think like it's okay, it's streaming. And social media, it's You wanted to ask something?
No, but después later.
I mean, social media, it could be bad and it could be good. You can have the power to like get people listen to your music, and it's something that in the old days you could only have it, with a big label. And sometimes it's saturated, and especially like Instagram, where it's very like a visual format, and like musicians find themselves needing to use a visual format. But on the other hand, Pantera and David Bowie took pictures also, so only Zappa was like rebelling.
Sí. Number one, the craziest one.
Do you know the video where Zappa sits in MTV and just talks shit about MTV?
Sí.
He's sitting in the MTV studios and just like talking about how
Manu,
videos is just such a lame format.
Look that Manu is a big fan of Frank Zappa. Sí. Wow. Bueno, le pregunté un poco sobre las redes sociales y la social media, y me dijo que los servicios de streaming están buenos en un momento porque te dejan escuchar, estás a un clic de escuchar cualquier cosa que se te ocurra, y eso por un lado está bueno. La parte económica dice, bueno, que es muy aburrida, que ya todos sabemos, pero que está bueno tener a un clic un montón de música. Y con respecto a las social medias, dijo que en un punto también es medio aburrido y encontrás a gente haciendo estupideces, o sea, porque el Instagram, por ejemplo, es solamente fotos, y encontrás a los músicos haciendo cualquier cosa, pero bueno, también tiene su parte divertida. O por ejemplo, cuando encontrás en YouTube a Frank Zappa hablando mierda de MTV, que es muy, muy gracioso y está bueno. Manu, ¿qué pregunta tenías?
Yo le quiero preguntar, ella estudió música, dijo.
Sí.
¿No? Sí. Le quiero preguntar en esa área 2 preguntas específicas. Uno, si estudian algo de Piazzolla,
sí.
Eso, si conocen algo. Y después, si existe esa verdad de que Barenboim, con Daniel Barenboim allá es grosso, porque acá lo venden como que en Israel Daniel Barenboim, ¿es verdad o no? No tengo todos los días la chance de hablar con alguien de allá, por eso.
Sí, perfecto. Manu wants to know, you have some musical school, you study music. We want to know if you study Piazzolla. You know Piazzolla from Argentina?
No.
Perfect. I'm going to see. Then we are going to show. Then I'm going to send some links. You are going to love it. Yes, Piazzolla. And we want to know if you know Daniel Barenboim. Daniel Barenboim. Yes. He's from Argentina. It's really.
When I was a small kid and we were in the children's choir. We were playing with a big orchestra, the Philharmonic Orchestra, and he was the conductor. I saw him as a kid working. I saw a lot of these conductors working. I learned a lot about music from them, from Zubin Mehta and Daniel Barenboim.
Zubin Mehta and Daniel. Wow.
Here in Argentina, there's a myth that Barenboim is very, very big in Israel, and I want to know that.
See, he wants to know.
He's huge here.
Okay.
Mirá. Para vos, Raúl.
He's amazing. Amazing.
Yes, he's really great. Tamar, can you tell us something about your future plans with music?
Yeah, so I recorded my new album already. I'm working on it.
Perfect.
And I hope to finish it in the next few months.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, I'm during COVID, I really got into like doing electronic music on my computer. And you know, the thing, it's really great when you can work alone, you know, on the computer, and you can do whatever you want, and you don't have to deal with emotions of other people. But on the other hand, I love working with people, and I love my band. So I'm trying to think like how to combine, you know, both of these. I'm really interested in like trying to make like, you know, an electronic song that in the middle becomes like really punk song, like live punk song. So I'm trying to like experience with these kind of, you know, mixtures. But yeah, the album is recorded, so I hope it will be out soon.
Wow.
Aparte, decirle que lo bueno de la música electrónica que se puede emborrachar y no tiene que cantar, tal vez.
Manos, no, with electronic music you can really get drunk, and there's no problem with electronic music.
Because you can get really drunk?
No, you can dance, you can do whatever you want with electronic music.
The recording process.
Sí,
the
sí.
recording process. When you're recording your first EP, you get drunk. Now.
No problem.
Wow. I think everyone can get drunk except the drummer.
Wow. Sí. And the bass player, maybe, too. Maybe.
The bass player, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Thanks for that. I'm a bass player. Thank you. Bueno, le preguntamos por los futuros planes y dice que tiene un disco grabado y que durante la pandemia estuvo muy metida en la composición de cosas electrónicas con la computadora, y dijo que estuvo muy bueno porque no tiene que negociar tanto con las emociones del grupo, pero que sí que le hacía falta las emociones, así que ya tiene su disco grabado y va a ver cómo empiezan a mezclarse todas estas cosas cuando se lo presente al grupo. Manu, si te parece, decime.
Sí, no, Tamar, thanks for the interview, and I want to say we interview a lot of bands, a lot of solos from all the world, and it's different when we talk with an artist, and I want to say that to you.
Yes, perfect.
Every answer is perfect.
Sí.
Thank you so much.
No, really. Wow, muy bueno, Manu.
You are an artist.
Sí.
Thank you so much, guys. It was a great interview. Your questions were great, and I hope maybe we meet in Argentina.
In Argentina or in Spain, we are going to meet somewhere. Just to finish the interview, we are going to listen to play Russian Winter. Can you tell us something about that song?
Yeah, so Russian Winter, like the beginning, I just like edited the band, you know, chopped it up. So that was fun, you know.
Perfect.
Just record them and then do whatever you want.
Perfect.
With what you've recorded.
That's a nice thing. No, perfect.
But you have to record them. You have to like some beer or something to smoke. But afterwards, it's like
perfect.
I'm editing you the way I want.
Perfect.
My reward.
Thank you very much, Tamar. We keep in touch, and thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
I know I'm gonna lose the war in the sea. I know how big the risk is taking you with me. I'll fight through Russian winter straight into your heart. You say you can see blood, but I plan to miss that part. Talk to my friends, mention that everything in life eventually ends. I heard you say these things, but never